I'm going to mix the cadmium yellow and the French ultramarine together now to make a green, so that I can start painting in some of the grasses. Cadmium yellow and French ultramarine do make a nice earthy green. I don't want it to be too garish. That should do me. I'm going to start in the foreground, and as I work into the background I'm going to alter the mix very slightly by adding other colours to it, such as burnt umber and cadmium yellow, and maybe a little bit of alizarin crimson to suggest heather. I don't think Heather will mind about that. It doesn't matter if you're working with greens and you're painting grass like this, it doesn't matter if you run out of the colour and you have to remix a little bit more of it. It doesn't matter if it's slightly different. That bit of variation throughout is actually quite a good thing. So weaken it slightly, a little bit more cadmium yellow on it, just to lighten it. A little bit more water, should I say, to lighten it. A little bit more cadmium yellow, just to alter the mix. And I'm going to work my way back onto the hill there. Subtle change in colour. And more. I'm just going to drop a little bit of that alizarin crimson in, just to warm it up slightly. Again, a little bit more variation there. Drop a little bit of that colour down into the foreground grass, I think. There we go. And again, I'm going to leave that to dry. This seems like a good moment to start introducing a few shadows. So I'm going to return to my French ultramarine burnt umber mix. Start with the stone wall again. The whole of this in fact would be in shadow, but again a few random highlights are not a bad thing. Now of course we can see where the light is coming from, so it's important that we take care with where the shadows are falling. It's time now to start painting in some of the darkest tones. And for this I'm going to go back to my old favourites, French ultramarine and burnt umber. This time I'm going to mix them up in a very rich mix, thick mix for the darker tones. That's French ultramarine and the burnt umber. Should do me. Nice and rich. I'm going to use the rigger, and again I'm going to have my second brush to hand and clean water so I can keep softening off and blending it into the surrounding wash. The second brush just softens it off, blends it in. last thing, some blades of grass just sticking up there. And there you have it. This painting then began life up on the Roaches on a very, very cold, windy day. From there came the original on-site sketch, and then from the on-site sketch I developed it into a studio sketch from which I've painted the final watercolour. You too can adopt this similar approach to your own paintings. You can see from this example how injecting your own creative thoughts into a subject, you can create something that is very, very personal to you, but also relates directly to the original subject.
Now available to buy. Try these techniques at home whenever you wish. The DVD of today's workshop and the book that accompanies this series are now available to order from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.